Good evening, and you are welcome to another exclusive interview powered by Elumba Television. Now, today we are going to be discussing insecurity, government responsibility towards its citizens. And we have as our guest a former Nigerian senator representing Kaduna Senatorial District, Kaduna Central Senatorial District. He is also the president of the Civil Rights Congress of Nigeria and the chairman Hand in Hand Africa, Senator Shehu Sani. Senator Sani, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Now, what is your opinion on the insecurity ravaging the country and the Middle Belt in particular?
Well, the security situation in the country is not unipolar. By that, I mean that the different geopolitical zones have their own different challenges. In the northwestern part of Nigeria, we are facing a serious problem of banditry and kidnapping and cattle rustling. In the northeastern part of Nigeria, it is terrorist groups from the ISWAP to Boko Haram and Ansaru that are organizing systemic attack on targets and have been sustaining the insurgency in the last 1 decade. In the north central part of Nigeria, we have crisis between farmers and herdsmen. Most times, attacks, killings, and arson are going on in the states of Nasarawa, Plateau, Benue, and part of Taraba State. And in the southeastern part of Nigeria, we have seen how unknown government have also been engaged in killings in some places. And as far as the rest part of the country is concerned, there are also traces of kidnappings in the southwest and also herdsmen violence and attacks. And in the south-south, we have cultist groups and pirates and also traces of kidnappings that have been going on. So as far as I think all parts of the country have their own peculiar challenges. And this is threatening the peace, the unity, the stability, and the future of Nigeria as a sovereign state. It has become a serious problem whereby even the fate of the nation is being questioned because of this banditry, terrorism, killings, and daily bloodshed that is going on. In our own part of the country, which is Northwest, bandits and terrorists have become a state within a state. Sometimes they are even extorting ransom, not just ransom, but they are imposing levies and fines on villages to impose their rule. Many people have sold their houses, their farms, to pay ransom to kidnappers. And the states of Katsina, Zamfara, part of Sokoto, Kaduna, Kebbi, and Niger states, virtually the agricultural sector has been destroyed. Farmers cannot go to their farms because of kidnappers, and schools have been closed, all as a result of this kidnapping activity. They have impoverished so many people, and hunger looms in the land because of the activities. Daily, every day is a story of kidnapping, funeral, bereavement. This is the situation we have found ourselves as a country. In Kaduna, where I live, you cannot move just a kilometer outside of the city anytime after 6 without getting into the hands of kidnappers. Even to move to the airport in the evening is a problem. So this is a tragic moment in the history of our country. We have never seen anything like this. And you can imagine a state like ours, where you have a heavy presence of military formations. Still kidnapping is still going on. Right now, people are happy that action is being taken on these bandits in Zamfara state, with aerial bombardment has been reported. But if you bombard them in Zamfara state, they will simply move to our own state, Kaduna, and become a problem to us. So the action has to be total. And if not, we will wake up without a country in the nearest future if these armed groups, criminals, have been allowed to flourish in our country. Yes.
Okay. Now, your statement said that this insecurity has become a terrible problem, which implies that this insecurity cases is on the rise. Why do you think this is the case in this time?
Security has a lot of factors. One is that of leadership. Our leaders, both the past and present, have not taken security issues very seriously. And our own security and defense apparatus have been neglected over the years without upgrading their equipment and supplying them with enough weapons for them to fight. Despite the fact that year in, year out, billions of dollars have been allocated for defense and security, you will not see it practically as far as equipment and funding for all these agencies and apparatus are concerned. So to me, it has simply become a business, and for many people, and that has not helped matters. Secondly, is the economic aspect of it. There's so much poverty in the land to the point that many people are taking the road of crime for them to survive. The gap between the rich and the poor is so expanding. Our leaders are only interested in themselves. You see how they display wealth during birthdays and weddings of their children. You see how you have one country, two different citizens. One, the extremely poor and impoverished Nigerians, an atmosphere that makes survival the order of the day. And people now take to violence and bloodshed as a means of venture of faith. Is the fact that government and governance has not worked for the people. It has only worked for a select group of individuals. The then ruling party have made a lot of promises of changing Nigeria, but we have seen that nothing significant has changed as far as the determination and commitment of the ruling political bourgeoisie to protect their class interests and class privileges. People like us who have spoken, even when we are tagged enemies, like what is happening in northern part of Nigeria now. For many years, when I was in the National Assembly, I stood consistently and continuously to bring to the attention of the government and the nation as a whole to the gradual collapse of security. But time and time again, each time we raise such issues, we're considered as enemies of Buhari, who don't want Buhari to work, or trying to exaggerate the problem. The problem that started in Zamfara has become so cancerous and has spread across the whole northwestern region, even to the north central parts of Nigeria. Because when power was taken away in 2015, instead of those in the position of power to now see the opportunity to serve, it becomes a matter of vengeance and vendetta. And now this is where we have landed. You can't even advise the government without you being tagged as enemy. And it has, and then those in the position of power think they have the monopoly to solve all the problems of Nigeria. They have become, but they think of themselves as magicians, as messiahs. And look at where this messiahs have landed.
I believe that our guest is having a little bit of network challenges. Let us hope that he can join the discussion back. Remember that we are discussing insecurity, government responsibility towards its citizens, and our guest, Senator Shehu Sani, was a former Nigerian senator representing Kaduna Central Senatorial District. He is also the president of Civil Rights Congress of Nigeria and the chairman, Hand in Hand Africa. But unfortunately, I think his network is giving him some challenges. So let us see if we can get him back and continue the discussion. Before he left, he was trying to answer the question why the insecurity is escalating and at this rate. But remember that you can join the conversation simply by raising up a digital hand. And while we are waiting for him, we would appreciate if anybody have a comment to make on this particular topic. But let us wait for him. Remember that I am taking comments on this particular topic while we are waiting for him. If you have a comment, all you have to do is to raise your digital hand and you'll be invited to speak on the platform on this topic, insecurity, government responsibility towards its citizens. What do you think? Do you think the government is responsible for the current insecurity, or is it the citizens that are making rash decisions? Let us know your thoughts while we are waiting for Senator Shehu Sani. Okay, I can see Antonia hand up. Antonia, I have asked you to unmute, so I think you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So what I would like to say is that just like the Vice President said that the elites in the country, have contributed a lot to all these insecurities, that are happening in the country. But although I support what the Vice President has said, but my question is, why is the government not doing anything about it? These elites that we're talking about, they are not ghosts. They are Nigerians. And they are everywhere. They're in the executives, they're in the legislature, they're in the judiciary, and even in the states. So why is it that the government is finding it difficult to identify these people, and after identifying them, to do the necessary things? Because if somebody is doing what is wrong and everybody is keeping quiet, of course, other people will think that, what they are doing is right, and then they'll continue to do it. And then when Senator Sani was talking, he said that there's clash between the farmers and the herders. It's not as long as they keep calling it clash, it's wrong. You can't say it is a clash. Somebody has a farm and you are farming, you are doing your legitimate business, and somebody just comes with his cattle and eats up everything that you have planted, and we are calling it clash. And that is why this thing is not being addressed. The farmers are not fighting the herders. They are the owners of their land, and they are doing their business. And somebody comes from somewhere and brings his cow and eats up everything, and you are saying they are clashing. So I think that the right things should be done. The government should do the right thing, and instead of trying to support one part of the country, the government should just do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antonia. We are still waiting for our guest to try to come back. Like I said, I believe he's having network challenges. And our guest is the former Nigerian senator representing Kaduna Central Senatorial District. He's also the president of Civil Rights Congress of Nigeria. He's also the chairman, Hand in Hand Africa, Senator Shehu Sani. I would have given a background of this discussion, but I actually believe everybody understands the topic and know what it is we are talking about. Right now, we are trying to discuss the insecurity in Nigeria and the Middle Belt in particular, following the very recent just killing that took the life of a lot of people. A lot of people. Now we are trying to understand why the government has failed in its responsibility towards the citizens and what is the solution moving on from here. That is where we are, and that's why we are talking to a former Nigerian senator, trying to understand the perspective of the government in this case. But like Antonia just said, this may not be, the word clash may not be the best description for it. As she said, the herdsmen are just attacking the farmers and not clashing with them. But let us hear from another participant, Elumba News. Mr. Elumba.
Well, I want to respond to that comment by Antonia, because when we say that government is not doing something, it will well be that they are doing something. It all depends on how you view what they are doing and whether you believe that they are doing enough and in what areas they are doing something. For instance, the banditry in KB and Zamfara State, for instance, over the past 1 week, we have heard of, like the senator said, a lot of bandits have been killed. If I may share just this video to show what the government has been doing in that area, and then invite comments from anyone in the audience to see whether that will, what they think about what government is doing in the Northeast and Northwest, for instance. This is a video from the Northwest.
Wannan su ne wanda suke operating Katsina da Zamfara. Suna kashe mana 'yan uwa da abokan arziki, 'yan uwa musulmi. Suna kukan cewar su musulmi ne, amma ba musulman bane ba. Musulman ƙarya ne. A baki suke musulmai kuma Fulani ne. Daga cikinsu amma akwai mixing da Hausawa. Ka gansu nan ba su da aiki sai kashe mutane, suna ƙwace musu dabbobinsu.
So if we can ask Antonia again, if you'll be kindly come back. I can play others as well. There are several other videos I have here, but this is just a sample. And one of their leaders were captured last week. Do you still think the government is not doing something, or that not doing enough? What do you think?
Well, I think that we have seen so many videos like that in the past. But what happens to all these people that they are showing us that they have been arrested? What happens to them? So Government has to be sincere in whatever they are doing. And why do they have to wait this long? Why do they have to wait? Many people have died. Many lives have been lost. And it is the same government that will come out and tell us as if they are supporting them, make some statements that, the southern governors are saying they don't want open grazing. And the government is saying they are going to have open grazing, trying to support them, bring out gazettes and all that. So, it's so confusing. So when we see what is bad, what is wrong, let us just address it. Let us stop saying, they are my people, they are my, we are from the same faith and all that. You are the government of the people, for the people. You are there to serve your people, serve all Nigerians, no matter where we're from, which ethnic group. You are there to serve us. You are the president of Nigeria. So you do the right thing for everybody. So this video you have shown us is a good video, but I'm not impressed. That's my own view.
I wish our senator can come back because we have a lot of questions to ask. I remember he was one of the persons that negotiated with some Boko Haram terrorists in those days. He's a very known activist, even before he became a senator. So we really want to ask him. And he has also given us differentiating between the criminals in Kaduna State, the criminals in Katsina, KB, Zamfara. We want to hear from him what he thinks about these different type of terrorists and criminals, and why he called the people operating in the Niger Delta area, like you said, clashes. What he means by that. We really want to ask him a lot of questions. I can see that, Mr. Yusuf, are you trying to unmute yourself?
No, I wasn't. I was just trying to put up my...
Okay, that's fine.
I have a few things I want to ask him later.
Exactly. We want to ask him some questions.
I want to listen to him first.
Yeah. Was he the senator representing, he was representing Kaduna Central. I don't know whether Kaduna Central includes your area of Kaduna State.
No, it's Kaduna Central. It's actually the Kaduna city itself, where Sani, the other Sani now is representing.
Oh, I see.
Shehu Sani or somebody.
Okay, the same Shehu Sani again.
No, not your friend in the...
the other guy's name is Shehu Sani as well, I think.
No, it's I'm getting the name wrong. I think it's somebody, Shehu Musa or Musa somebody.
Yeah, it resembles I think Musa Sani or something.
The one that replaced him.
Yes.
But I mean, let us hope he comes back so that we can ask him, because there are quite a lot of things. I want to be very specific about Kaduna and the relationship between the El-Rufai and himself and Southern Kaduna People's Union, why the governor is engaging with associations that could actually help him solve the problem and all that.
All right, let's hope he's coming back.
Yes, and as a politician, he needs to give us some record of his achievement that will make us actually believe he's not just playing politics also.
Augusta, are you trying to contact him?
Trying to contact him, but unfortunately he's not speaking. I do not know why that is, but I'm trying to contact him.
Well, Nigeria, anything can happen.
But it's really good to listen to him first, to give him the audience and let him express.
Exactly, yeah.
I will mute myself again for you later.
Yes, that's fine. I listened to a seminar, I think was it day before yesterday, by this Dr. Mohammed Rufai from what's the name of this university? It's not Bayero University, Kano, I think. I think the guy is from Bayero University, Kano. I recorded it. I will stream it later on, but not today. The guy gave a very long history of banditry in northern Nigeria. He actually went to the field, lived with them, investigated them, and came out with his report. It's a very interesting narrative. which I feel people should listen to, so that we can differentiate between the myths, the fiction, and the facts with regards to this terrorism going on in northern Nigeria.
In fact, when it comes to Kaduna State in particular, I hope that Senator Sani can help us understand. There is an enclave in southern Kaduna called Laduga. And this place was created initially like a grazing reserve, I believe. But now it is like a city where all the Hausa, Fulani Muslims have found an enclave. And there is strong evidence that all these killers come from there and they go back there. So I think it was supposed to be 30-something or 300-something hectares. They have multiplied that area now to about 3 times the original gazetted size of the place. Okay, and what is the real understanding of his organization about that place, and why can't anybody raise that issue where you claim not to know where these people are coming from? They must come from homes. They must be able to buy things. And the only place we believe they can shop and live and socialize is in that place, Laduk. And within southern Kaduna, where they're coming to kill people and then go back in there. Nobody has ever been there to interrogate anybody or chase anybody there.
Oh, this network problem.
When a politician speaks, with due respect, they have to understand that there is very little trust from the populace. So they will forgive us if we don't really believe everything. But he's like a campaigner of human rights. And is he a fair weather friend, or is he a real friend? If he's a real friend, what has he done concretely to network with people that he's sympathizing with, or he's just sitting on one side sympathizing? You know, it'll be good to listen to him and see maybe he'll come up with some points to address those things. That's why I would rather listen to him first before I start doing these things. I think.
Okay,
I'm looking for that.
He's here. I think he's here, but he's trying to connect his audio. Let's just give him a minute and then we would resume this discussion. Senator Sani? Senator Sani?
I think if iPhone X is still connecting audio.
Okay,
Hello?
so let's give him a second. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm back now.
Oh, thank you so much. And before you left, you gave us the different kinds of insecurity, different cases of insecurity in different regions, and you were trying to explain to us why the insecurity cases have escalated to this point and why it's happening at this particular time. Can you go on with that analysis, please?
Well, I said that there are political, economic, governance issues and security issues that led us to where we are today. And that is also sustaining the level of insecurity in the country. Our security forces and defense forces are ill-equipped to handle these challenges. Despite billions of dollars being poured into defense and security, you don't see anything tangible on the ground as of equipment for, if we can recall, it didn't crash, that the army doesn't have the equipment and the weapons to be able to fight. And this is a country whereby from 2015 to 20 that defense $6 billion to 1 point. You don't find anything tangible and confront this danger. The second issue has to do with the fact that the failure of governance over the years has contributed. Many of these rural communities have been neglected for a very long time. They are so disconnected from government and governance to the point that it contributed seriously to the situation we find ourselves. And then we have not also developed a culture of intelligence whereby the other paramilitary forces in the country can use the instrument of intelligence to nip in the bud some of these activities over the years. So now we are living the truth of our failure. And it's something which we have to contain and crush, or else it will annihilate all of us as a people. We don't have any, when people say you don't have any country, but the one that is here is a fact. If no matter how naturalized you are as a Nigerian in Europe or in United States, there will become a time there are things you will do. They will certainly deport you back to your to your mother country. If you are a Muslim, you go to Saudi Arabia, you are not allowed to stay there indefinitely. You have to come back. If you are a Christian, you go to Israel or Vatican, you have a limited time to stay there and come back here. So we have to build this country. We have to protect this country. We have to continue to speak the truth and hold accountable those in the position of office. If they fail to perform, we change them with people who can deliver. This messianic attitude of our leaders have been demystified by the kind of violence and bloodshed that is going on. From Benue to Plateau to southern part of Kaduna, central part of Kaduna, you can see how you every day wake up to tragedies and horrors and killings. These bandits are merciless. They kidnap students, rape and kill women, raise down houses, impoverish people. So how on earth can somebody come to defend this kind of people? And how can a country like ours that has been able to perform wonders in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Congo, our army, our police have won laurels by peace intervention in other countries, and we're finding it difficult to protect our country? This is unimaginable. So the earlier we stand up to the realities, the earlier the government wakes up and do what is right, the better. Every time you see killings, and all you see from the government is crucial meetings, closed door meetings, emergency meetings, urgent meetings, all these kind of meetings which produces no result. What are we talking about? So Nigeria must be protected. If leaders have failed, we have to change leaders who can protect this country.
Okay, so in summary, you're saying it is government's irresponsibility to protect its citizens that is causing these insecurity cases.
It is one of them, because when you slow to preside over the affairs of a country, have voluntarily offered yourself to serve what is right, but they have failed because security issues was used to remove the last government in this country here. And it is clear that it is also what has been failing as far as this present dispensation is concerned. The government has simply failed. And when a government has failed, it is simply dragging the nation to a failing state. And this is what is happening. Bandits and terrorists have become a state within a state. If they can impose taxes, they have their governors, they have their rulers, they even have their own security personnel. So where is a country if we continue to move along this line?
Okay, remember that you can join the discussion simply by raising up your digital hand, and I'll try to accommodate as much questions and comments as possible. Now, before I start allowing participants to ask questions, let me ask you this. Why do you think the federal government in particular, because they are the ones that have the rights to security, and they're the ones in command of the security personnel, why do you think they have failed to make a decisive move against the perpetrators of this violent acts?
Well, they have failed to take action for a number of reasons, which are like three. One is that they have entrusted the security and defense responsibility to people who are incapable. It has to take a lot of protests, criticisms, and agitation for the president to remove the former service chiefs who have outlived their failures, their tenure in office, and have failed. So he kept them for such a long time, destroying the opportunity of others to prove their worth in office. So that is first mistake. The second mistake, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
The second mistake was lack of an audit system as far as the finance and security expenditure is concerned. Billions have been spent on security and defense, but that has not translated to equipment and fighting machines on the ground. Many of these soldiers have protested a number of times of lack of arms and ammunition for them to fight. And on paper, you will see billions going in the name of defense. Even the Minister of Finance, sometimes ago, she has to come publicly and say she released about 1.3 trillion within 24 months to the army. Apart from special intervention, which the special approvals, which the service chief have been going directly to the president to collect money. So you can see that is the second aspect. The third aspect of it is our failure to use technology to combat armed banditry and terrorism. Now we have resorted to shutting down telecommunication after all the billions that have been wasted in the name of registering phone lines and tracking phone lines and what. So you can see how those factors have seriously contributed in sustaining the failure of security, the bloodshed, the violence that has become cancerous and a daily tragedy in our country today.
Now, just before I allow participants, you've just given a very good analysis of how government actions have spurned the insecurity. Will you say these actions by the government are intentional, or will you say it's just nonchalance on their part that is causing this insecurity to escalate?
Well, I can tell you that it is not intentional, but it is a bankruptcy of idea on what to do. If you come into government address challenges. One thing you should know and put in mind is that politics and partisanship is over. As a leader, you're supposed to open your arms and embrace all Nigerians as a father for all. And be ready to involve the group. I will deal with this.
Okay, once again, I think the network did not allow us to hear the answer to that question. I can see some hands up, and I'm just going to assume that you had questions for the senator. But unfortunately, the network is giving serious issues right now. So let's just hope that he comes back. Remember that we are discussing insecurity, government responsibility towards its citizens. And we've been having a conversation with the senator, Shehu Sani. He is the former Nigerian senator representing Kaduna Kaduna Central Senatorial District. And he's also the president of Civil Rights Congress of Nigeria and the chairman of Hand in Hand Africa. I'm just going to call on the names I'm saying here. If you have a question for the senator, please forgive me and I'll call your name again when he comes back. But if you have a comment, please feel free to share. Elumba News, I know you have something for the senator and not
No,
for
call
us.
someone else. Mine is a question, so go for those who have comments.
Okay, let us hear from Joseph Sunday Akirile. Joseph Sunday, I am assuming yours is also a question.
Yes.
I've asked you to.
Okay. Good afternoon.
So let's.
Okay. Good
afternoon. And yes, we'll wait for the senator and then we'll allow you to talk. Is that okay?
Okay. That's right.
All right. I know Mr. Paul has already indicated that he wanted to speak with the senator, but unfortunately, the senator is not here. So I'm going to move to Antonia. Antonia, are you also waiting for the senator? Antonia, I have asked you to unmute, so I believe you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Okay. Are
you also waiting for the senator?
So we need to wait for.
All right. So when he comes back, we'll get back to you.
Thank you.
And let us ask the last person, Mazio Koye. Mazio Koye, are you also waiting for the senator? I have asked you to unmute, so you should be able to speak.
I will wait for the senator if that's all right.
All right, there's no problem.
Okay, if everyone is waiting for the senator, let me point this out to the audience and then see what you have to say about it. I've now got the area of the video where Dr. Mohammed Rufai, a lecturer, Bayero University, Kano. The lecture was entitled 2 days ago, I Am a Bandit. He gave 3 sources of banditry in Zamfara and Katsina State and Kebbi State. He said, 1, politicians in the state sponsored and armed some youths as political thugs to achieve their ambition in 2011. Number 2, illicit mining arguments sees the rise of bandits from struggle among the miners with the aim of getting an upper hand in the competition. Number 3, social grievance arising from the perceived deep-seated injustice against the pastoral communities. And this guy is not just saying this, but he got some interviews. You see them, interviews them. Some will cover their faces while giving how they come into banditry. I found that to be very enlightening. because it will help to distinguish between different types of banditry and why they do what they did. The former video of some arrest, I read that. Well, let me show another video now. And I will ask the author of that statement whether that's also a fake arrest. Let's see.
Ku cire rigar, ku cire. Bari a samu. Na gani mobile ne kawo. Cikin su yake wala wanka. Wallahi a ishe ka kawai ma a ishe shi kawai. Wallahi a da kashe kawai. Ba da gidansa.
All right. Do you know who this is? I think this is one of the leaders of the bandits in Zamfara. I think his name is Buhari as well. Or I think another one is Buhari, not this one. But you see, he was arrested. He was injured while being arrested, and admitted taken into custody. So whether someone will do this one again, a fake arrest. The fact is that government is taking action against the banditry in Zamfara and Kebbi State now every day. It just depends on how successful they are and how extensive those arrests. There are so many videos they are sharing and some interviews. Some of those bandits have been interviewed as well. We will appreciate a comment in this regard, or whether we will wait for the senator to come back. Onyebuchi Abuanike, is that a comment? Onyebuchi, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, good evening.
Go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to make a comment before the last part you just talked about.
Go ahead.
I wanted, since everyone was waiting for the Senate, I wanted to just throw this question open for everyone. I want to know what our views are towards the issue of localizing security. Because from much of what the senator has said, he's talking about a fail of government or a fail of political will to do what is supposed to be done, fail of political will. He talked about our inability to use technology. The general opinion he talked about was a lack of ideas of what to do. And we all know that the security architecture of the country is controlled by the federal government. Every security architecture in the country is controlled by the federal government. So I just wanted to ask how we see localizing some sections of the security as part of the solution. I know it's not a total solution, but how do we see it as part of the general solution, a part of the solution? Whether, like people have been talking about state police and stuff like that, whether that can be part of the solution. So I just wanted to hear our comments, if anyone wanted to comment on that, if anyone has an idea of how it can work, because I've heard debates of the pros and the cons of state police and all that. But I want to know whether it can be applied as a part of the solution.
Okay, thank you so much, Onyebuchi. Let us see this person that just raised the hand. Uche Ezeanyi. I don't know. I think we've lost that. I think he just left.
The name is actually Uche. Yeah.
Ezeanyi, sorry, Ezeanyi. Please go ahead.
That's okay. Yeah, I think the video, the point you're trying to make, there are folks who've been arrested and probably injured in the process of arresting such individuals. And I think also the point that gentleman actually made of localizing security. They all go hand in hand. And the reason I say that is, I think we've gotten so used to brutalizing fellow human being and gotten so used to abuse that sometimes when we see certain ill treatment of a fellow person, we don't stop to think that such individual should be treated as a suspect, until after having been tried in a court, found guilty, then let the rule of law to take over. Now, if you localize security, we also have to be careful that you don't have jungle justice take over. We have to be careful that we don't also, on one hand, encourage brutalizing a fellow human being, right? So you need to have a structure. There has to be training. People have to be brought up to understanding how to arrest, how to take people through due process, to be tried and found guilty or not guilty, so that if you're not guilty, you can easily be released and, you go back to society. And if you're found guilty, then, have the right punishment get administered to you. So yes, localizing security, it's a good way to go. In fact, you actually have neighborhood watch. If you go to villages, you have locals who actually get together and keep an eye out. They know who is who. And when a stranger comes into the community, folks are able to easily get alerted. You have the town's crier who go around making the announcement, letting folks know, beware of your surrounding. So it's very important. Yes, we always have to, keep security in mind, but let's also be very careful that we don't go the extra length of administering justice extrajudicially and causing harm and just in this, in the name of protecting ourselves, right? So that's just my point there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ezenyi. Now, the guest just sent me a text complaining about this network. Apparently, he has been trying to join and he sends his apologies. Hopefully, we'll be able to get to see him soon. I can see a new hand up. The name I'm seeing here is Abi. Abi, I don't understand the name, but that's the name I can see here. I have asked you to unmute. I do not know if you want to make a comment regarding this particular thing, or you also want to wait for the senator.
No, I'm not waiting for the senator. I want to raise my own issue over here. Well,
please go ahead.
I just want to know whether banditry is a state offense or a federal offense. If it is a state offense, how many states have so far tried these bandits within their states? And if it is federal, then how many have they been tried? This is a proposal to the Attorney General of the Federation. So if anybody can help me, I'm a lawyer myself, but I found it very difficult to know who tries the bandits in our region or wherever any offense of banditry is committed. That's the question.
My
Thank
brother,
you so
it's
much.
a very, let me comment on this. It's a very interesting question you have asked, because we Nigerians always attribute everything to the federal government, and the state governments are also empowered to prosecute people for crime. So if a state governor can prosecute an individual, the Attorney General can prosecute. So why don't you use the police in your area to get someone who have committed a crime in your state and get your Attorney General to prosecute him in a court of law? That's a very good point.
Please, can you unmute Joseph Sunday Akinrele?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Since my name is Joseph Adeyemi Sunday Akinrele, okay, I live in Panama, and I came to Panama in 2012. I found a place very peaceful, where there's law and order, irrespective of your caliber. And I related to my country, where some people are treated special on the same law, and others are treated the other way around, using the same law. Okay, if we call ourselves a society and we want to live together as a society, why is it that now we have 2 laws or 3 laws within a society? Coming to the other aspect of it, the security. The security should never start yesterday. It grew up gradually. Take the case of River State. I live there because I'm a seaman. I move around. And I saw the mayhem during the time of Odili. And I saw what happened during the time of oil bunkering. I saw it and I said, in my conscience, I said, this is not right. I can't do it. I left the ship and I went to another company. And the same thing applies to every aspect of our lives. We like to fix it. Let us manage it. Tendency. When you manage it, it becomes the permanent issue. Where are we going to? How long are we going to manage something? The security system, as a technical man, after any profession, you are a technical, whether lawyer or whatever, you are still a technical man. If you don't have the right tools for your job, you are incapable, you are incompetent. No matter how experienced you may be, you are incompetent. That is why the Europe, China are leading us in everything. We have great men in that country called Nigeria, but where are the tools? Whereas some people are busy buying, forgetting that those things they are buying are made by people like them. So where are we? Are we a buying nation, or are we supposed to be a producing nation? These are the things I grew up to know so much about politics. It runs in me, and I felt that the people before me and my generation have disappointed the nation called Nigeria, because we allow so many things to happen without nipping it in the bud before it escalates to this thing. So now we are where we are. What should we do to get out of this doldrum? Thank you very much.
All right, we thank you very much. One other thing I noted about what the senator's contribution with regards to tackling crime is that the efforts seem only to be directed at using force, security, money, buying arms, buying bombs, buying to-sky aircraft, buying fighter jets. I think that there is a bankruptcy of ideas. Our people say if you want to catch a murderer, you go and look for the blacksmith who produced the gun or who produced the machete. The ideology is that to solve a crime, you go and look at the causes of that crime. So have the authority really thought, why is banditry flourishing in those areas? And then go for the root causes. But if you only concentrate on the symptoms, you cannot cure the disease. Because if you cure this symptom, tomorrow another symptom will come up. If you kill the one bandit today, tomorrow there will be another bandit leader. You kill 10 today, tomorrow 20 more will come up. Why? Because the root cause of that banditry is still there. So why don't you go and look for the root cause and root out the disease so that the symptoms will stop? I wanted to ask him that question because even he's only talking about security, money going, money being voted, money stolen, bombs, but what about the root causes of the crime? Nobody seems to bother about that.
I think you raise a really good point. When you take a look at the issue of Nigeria, it looks like we are somehow outsourcing everything. Everything that the government should be doing for its people. So in an average house, you expect the government to actually provide water. Government does not provide water. You expect the government to provide electricity that is steady and reliable. The government doesn't do that. And somehow we've been tolerating that, over these years. So I have to dig a well, get my borehole water, and I'm okay with it. And every person is going to go build a house tomorrow knows to have to think about buying a generator. These are not normal. Now, we've been living that way all these years, and now here we are also outsourcing security. Part of the responsibility of a government is to provide security for its people. Okay, and we have a failed government. When you really think about it, the fact that we're actually discussing and talking about taking security in our own hands and gathering together to make sure that our lands or farms are actually not being taken over, that is not something that we really should be discussing as a people. This is something a government has the responsibility to actually take that action. So I think I'm going to go back to what Senator Shehu was talking about, that it would actually take the pressure from the people, enough protest and enough clamoring to bring about the change that is actually needed. So I think in a way he's making a point that we have to be empowered to ensure that our voice is actually heard. Because if we don't make our voices heard, then the change that we expect to see most likely is not going to happen, and we cannot continue to tolerate ineptitude and incompetency of government.
Yeah, I agree. And the problem I'm now seeing, because of what you pointed out, the failure of government, is the citizens have given up on their government. And so it's either you take care of yourself or you leave the country, like some of us have done, like me and Joseph, and even you, which I have done, we leave the country. And those who remain in that country say, no, let us simply break it up. Let's have Ududu and Biafra. So everybody seems to have given up on the country in one way or the other. But a country is only as good as the people in it. If the people get together and say, no, we cannot tolerate this anymore. That is how Western society was built. The people simply said no. The French said no. We are tired of monarchy. They have the French Revolution. The Britain, they are tired of monarchy. They have their Civil War, the Revolution, and the AC came up, and they have of common democracy. That is how a lot of countries. But Nigeria seems, when people are tired, they either go away from the country, or pick up arms to say, let us simply break away and have my Biafra and Odudu. Working hard to solve the problem, and that is where we are today. Should we continue to wait for?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Elumba. I just spoke to the guest, so we are planning to reschedule this discussion because he sends apologies saying that the network is not permitting him to join the discussion. I can see that the participants are really hungry to express their opinions, but I'll have to apologize on his behalf. We will try to reschedule and communicate a new date for this same discussion with the guest.